Now, Green did not chime in on all the talk about how the Warriors had just been schooled, although Steve Kerr did, joking it was some sort of basketball karma for all the times the KD Warriors had done that to other teams in recent years. Still, I would caution anyone from making one of those 7-second rushes to judgment on Golden State. No, the Warriors are clearly not an elite team right now. Without Klay, we knew that already. They are also likely not as bad as what we saw last night, which was rookie James Wiseman's first game, and a game Draymond didn't even play. The same caution about first impressions also applies to the Clippers and Lakers, who kicked off the night with the most unusual ring ceremony in NBA history and finished it with some disjointed play and LeBron James sitting out the game's final 8 minutes with a rolled ankle. Now, I was in the mostly empty Staples Center last night, and I can tell you the whole vibe was just, well, as weird and disorienting as everything else has been this year, which is why when, not long after the game started, Paul George bounced a pass to, I don't know here, the referee. It wasn't shocking to me that he was taking a minute to get his bearings. Of course, NBA Twitter is NBA Twitter, so we got a lot of this. Again, though, first impressions aren't always correct, and PG's night was about to get better, a lot better. A dominant 33 points better, where we saw PG do stuff like this. Yeah. So that's good to see again. And this. The performance certainly seemed to back up what Paul has been saying for weeks, that finally having two healthy shoulders was making a world of difference from last season. It also underscored how the franchise listened to him when he publicly complained about not being put in enough pick and rolls. Last night, nearly 70% of PG's possessions were pick plays, and the Clippers also gave him more flexibility within each of those possessions, which directly led to 34 of his points, or 34 points overall. So how much stock should we put in all of what we saw last night? Not too much. After all, scientists have also found snap judgments, the ones we make in those early 7 seconds, are often just patently untrue. Apparently, we have to give these teams at least, 2 games? Then I'm sure we'll know everything. Vince, I love those Paul George stats. I love seeing him thrive and answer the challenge last night. What do you think the Clippers can do to continue getting that version of Paul George?
Nothing. I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's business as usual. We've seen Paul George have great regular season. They need him to be prolific, elite, one of the best 5 to 10 players in the NBA in the postseason. So right now, this is just revving up, getting warm for the postseason. So I think, put him in the pick and roll situations that he wants, where he feels like he can thrive. Okay, fine, we're gonna put you there, but we need you to bring this same energy and effort in the postseason for them to win.
Yeah, I agree. And here it is. Paul George is a phenomenal player. No one could take that from him. He's an elite two-way player, one of the elite two-way players in the game today. I think the biggest challenge for Paul George is his mental. And the best thing that happened for Paul George was Tyronn Lue. Tyronn Lue is a coach that not only he would get on you, but he could relate to you. So he's almost like a friend slash brother slash coach that will get the best out of Paul George, and he listens to his players. You could tell Paul George is playing with a clutter-free mind, and it showed on the court. And like Vince said, we never doubted his talent in the regular season. It's when it gets tough and when it matters the most in the postseason, what Paul George are we going to see? Are we going to see the Paul George that have those 5 for 15 nights, or he's going to be locked in? He's going to block out all the distractions. He might need to take a chapter out of LeBron James' book and go dark mode, where he get off of social media and just have straight tunnel vision. And I think that will help him a lot.
Yeah, that's a great point, Perk. I want to get to the other game from last night.
I want to add to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to add one thing to that. And I think, and he should use the regular season as practice, as these big games, the Christmas games, and any big games that they have. That should be his approach, playoff mode. Everything is to playoff mode. They felt like they had a letdown and this didn't happen. Everything should be geared towards and predicated to how we're going to play in the playoffs starting now.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.